If you have ever been on a perfect diet for a couple of days, then one night you snap and end up binging and hating yourself for it, it's not the willpower problem, it's a very predictable cycle. Today I want to talk about binge restriction cycle and the ways you can break them. So let's get started. Step one is always a restriction. Most diets start with rules. You eat this, you don't eat that. And usually the goal is a very fast weight loss, right? So the restriction gets extreme and is associated with bunch of side effects, which is fatigue, brain fog, headaches, low energy, because you went from normal portions to extremely tiny portions in overnight. And the bigger issue with that is not just the physical part of it, it's a psychological one. The moment food becomes forbidden, it becomes louder in your mind. So even with the food that you don't usually like, you will end up craving them more. What happens with that scenario is the emotions hit. Life happens, you feel stressed, you feel bored, overwhelmed, exhausted, whichever emotion it is. If food has been your main way to regulate emotions, your main coping tool, restriction takes that tool away. And what happens is that with the restriction, you are not able to use the food as a coping mechanism anymore. So you are completely left without any coping tools. During the stress moment, when the emotions spike, your brain goes back to what it knows works, which is food. That's why you have a binge episode. That's why I'm saying the binging is not random at all. It is very, very predictable. And what comes after binge is the guilt. It's the shame, and guilt is the fuel for next restriction because you just don't feel bad. You feel urgency. You feel like you should make the change right now and you have to fix it. You have to go back in track. You have to punish yourself because you were not able to maintain the diet. And what happens is that guilt and shame is overtaking you and you end up thinking that you're the problem. Guilt creates, I need to fix this. I'm feeling guilty. If I fix it, I will not feel guilty anymore. And you will create even more strict diet, even bigger restriction because you want to lose weight very fast because you think that if you lose weight, the guilt, the shame, the self-hatred, everything will disappear and you will feel better immediately. As someone who's been on both sides of that scenario, unfortunately or fortunately, nobody knows, it doesn't disappear like that. When you lose weight, you feel very more confident. You feel way better within yourself. Your life literally gets unstuck, but it doesn't fix the main issues you are experiencing in life because they were never about the food to start with. How it's happening? You have two different type of restrictions, which I'm sure not many people are aware because I didn't know until I went deep into the whole of finding out about the binge eating itself. It's a physical restriction when you are under eating, physically consuming less calories. That's associated with physical symptoms, right? You feel brain fog, you feel tired, you're hungry all the time, but it's also related to psychological restriction, which is you having rules around food. I'm not allowed to have bread. I'm not allowed to have sugar. So sugar becomes like the dot in the map, and the noise craving sugar becomes louder and louder and more tempting. And the food has the job, which is the regulation. So most likely the type of food you took away were the type of food that were helping you to regulate your emotions. You are taking away all the things that make you feel numb or soothed or distracted or rewarded, comforted. All the things that food brings, you are taking them away without replacing the skill. Like you're not giving it anything else instead. That's why your urges eventually wins. And then you feel guilty because urges won. But it was very predictable to start with because you took away something and didn't give it anything in return. It was not the unexpected binge. The only thing there was not if the binge will happen, but when the binge will happen, how long it will take you until you cannot regulate your emotions anymore because you don't have any tools. Like what to do. Awareness is one thing. It's extremely important to know what it is that you're dealing with, but breaking the loop is also very important to get the results right, because you are working for recovery, you're working for weight loss, and just knowing what's the issue is not gonna get you there. To break the loop, it's 3 basic things. First is to stop with the extreme restriction. If your plan only works when you're miserable, it's not gonna last. I know you have been in a bunch of diets. I know you tried every famous or unfamous diet and you still gained the weight back, or you were not able to lose weight to start with. And it all happens because they are too restrictive. They are extremely restrictive. They just make you miserable. You are not able to maintain it. The diet which will help you to lose weight should be the diet you can stay on forever. So if you're doing something just because you want to lose 10 pounds and then go back eating the way you ate before, it's not gonna work. You're gonna gain weight back. And I'm pretty sure you have that proof in your previous experiences with the diets. Next thing, which will be step 2, is to figure out what food is doing for you. For that, I have a question, which is ask yourself, when I want to binge, when I want to have food, when I know I'm not hungry. Or if you don't know when you're hungry or when you're not, anytime you decide to have food, ask yourself the question, what am I actually needing? Do I need food to fuel myself, to have more energy, to function like a normal human being? Or I want food because I need comfort, because I need to numb something, because I am feeling extremely overwhelmed? Is it a reward? Is it a relief? Maybe it's a distraction. Maybe it's a way to connect, because we as a society use food for connection. You're meeting friends, you are going out for dinner, going in a cafe, you go for drinks. All of those things include food. And that's a normal thing to do, but you have to get this awareness that I am doing this because I want that. I am eating food because I want connection right now. And third thing is to build replacement tools. Now you know what are the emotions that make you want to eat. They are different, right? So you can have tool for every single emotion that makes you want to have food. It will take away food from the equation and you will stop having binge restrictive cycles. Next thing will be to neutralize forbidden foods. This one is a little bit difficult to do if you have not done first 3 steps. And what happens is that we have specific type of foods that always make us binge. For me, it was mac and cheese. Like, I could eat mac and cheese until it was done. Every time I would eat that specific food, I was not able to stop. So that was my binge food. And when I wanted to lose weight, it was always forbidden food because I knew I couldn't stop eating it. I was overeating it every single time. So neutralizing forbidden foods, a lot of people say that they are reintroducing them into their diet. It can only happen if you are very aware of the emotional things you're experiencing which makes you want to have food, and if you already tested out the tools and you know what works, or the process is very shorter when you are getting outside help. The last one is to create the sleep protocol, one-off meal which makes your next meal normal. And that is basically to test out your punishment structure your brain has and reframe that. And we reached end of the video. What I want to tell you for the end is that you are not binging because you're weak. You're binging because you have this loop going on in your mind all the time with the binge and restriction, and it's already a habit. Most likely you don't realize it. You may be seeing it, but you don't really know what to do with it. Fix is not diet which is more strict. It took me years to accept the fact that my binge eating will not be fixed with more strict diets. You have to accept the fact that it will not be happening that soon. The more restriction you will give yourself, the bigger the binge will be. I'm an example of that. I can give you 100 examples of that from my own life. I'm pretty sure you can find your own examples. Every time you tried to make the diet more restrictive, it backfired. Give yourself more regulation skills instead of giving yourself more strict diets and more extreme exercises. When needs are met in other ways, food becomes just food again. If you have to choose one exact step, what to do to help with the binge eating recovery is to identify emotion and build a replacement plan. It is difficult in some ways because identifying the emotion is challenging for some people. Building a plan is also challenging because it requires you to do new type of work which you've never done before. That's why you can join my free Skool community where we are doing the process together, so it's less lonely, it gives you more options. It's something new but also exciting. Link will be provided in the description below. That was all for today, and I will be seeing you tomorrow. Bye!